CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
It is a raw day here in Baltimore. 39 degrees, rain expected throughout the afternoon. Started about 2 hours ago, and it's been steady since. Ben Roethlisberger, when we asked him about this moment, this game, this venue, he said, yeah, it does feel like it's full circle. The craziness of how that works. It's uniquely fitting that this could be the final game of my career where it started. His first game was here in Baltimore. He stepped in for the injured Tommy Maddox week 2, 2004 in his NFL debut, and he has not looked back since. 2 Super Bowls, youngest starting quarterback to win the Super Bowl when the Steelers got it done with Bill Cowher as the head coach. And maybe the final ride for Big Ben today. Steelers 8-7-1. Ravens are 8-8. Baltimore won the toss. They have deferred to the second half. Mike Tomlin and company are focused on the task at hand, and then let's see where the chips fall the rest of the day.
And the chips are easier for them, quote unquote, because there's only one game that truly affects them, and that's Jacksonville, Indianapolis.
The opening kick, Justin Tucker, Ray McLeod, the return man from the 6. Lane opens up for McLeod and then goes down as he crossed the 35-yard line. Chuck Clark on special teams, 33-yard return. Ben Roethlisberger, 39 years old. That number 7, nobody will ever wear it again in Steeler history.
And nor should they, because of the accomplishments of not just what he's done on the field, but the identity being forged with the city. That city of toughness. Ben Roethlisberger the same way, and in this ball game, he expects a lot of pressure from this Baltimore Ravens team. Let's see if he takes a few shots at it with his guys on the perimeter. See if he can hook up with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. 5th
all-time in passing yards and completions, 8th all-time in touchdown passes. First play from scrimmage, 2 tight ends in this formation. It's a running play for Harris, and he's bottled up. The Baltimore Ravens defense this season, they are number 1 against the run, just under 85 yards allowed per game. Leglue starting at left guard. Hassenauer continues to start. Kendrick Green is available, came off the COVID list, didn't practice at all this week. No James Washington today. He's on the COVID list for Pittsburgh. 3 receivers set. Shotgun for Ben on 2nd and 9. Steelers coming off that 26-14 win over Cleveland to stay alive in the playoff chase. Handoff, Harris, 1-yard pickup to the 40-yard line, hit by Matabike. Part of that front. This defense, not what it was, but they dealt with a lot of injuries, especially in the secondary, and big names with the likes of Peters and Humphrey going down. They've had to mix and match. And
because they've had to mix and match, it's reduced what they've done on defense. We're used to 10 to 15 new blitzes each week. From Don Martindale, the defensive coordinator, he's had to shave that list down because of what's happened in the secondary.
They are dead last in the NFL against the pass this season. Shotgun on a 3rd and 8. Roethlisberger lets it fly to the sideline, short of the sticks. The catch made by Najee Harris to gain 4, and may have injured his hand in the process. As he heads to the sideline in pain, Steelers will punt it.
And footing will be a concern as well. He threw his shoe trying to make the cut to come back inside. Let's see where the injury occurs. See, he throws the shoe there trying to cut back inside, and then as he's tackled and goes down.
Now his arm got twisted under there.
Yeah.
So Presley Harvin will punt it, the rookie. And Duvernay, number 1 in the NFL in punt return average. Back to get it. Fair catch called for. Hauls it in cleanly at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Ravens will open up a 36-yard punt. Tyler Huntley making his 4th start for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, that bruised ankle, still not allowing him to go out there and do the things he normally does. Give us a scouting report on Huntley.
very calm, poised, a lot more confidence in himself as time has gone on. The team responds to his leadership. It's been that way for him on every level, high school, college, and here in the NFL. They like playing for him and with him. I expect Baltimore to be aggressive with him as well. Not the same running game with the loss of their running backs. They may throw it a bit more.
Fake it to Freeman. Huntley on his horse. Out of bounds. He was expecting a big hit on the chase down by Wormley, and he gets out after the 2-yard pickup. Well, on that offensive line, Ravens have had to make changes throughout the season. Ben Cleveland, the rookie out of Georgia, in there at left guard. They've dealt with injuries, as we know. Villanueva was supposed to be a right tackle and then forced into action at left tackle when Ronnie Stanley went on IR early in the season. You know, John Harbaugh, a lot of what ifs, what could have been if they got a couple of those wins. If they had 10 wins going into this week 18, this season would look entirely different. Quick hitter to the outside. It's hauled in by the rookie Rashad Bateman for a modest gain, 3 yards for Baltimore. Defensively for Pittsburgh, still aggressive, #1 in sacks, but the interceptions down this season. That was a big part of what they did last year. Hayward, Pro Bowler, TJ Watt, looking for NFL history. And in the secondary, Joe Hayden was on the COVID list earlier in the week. He is active, but the way Mike Tomlin felt coming in, just work him in when they need him.
Yeah, they want to put him in what he calls the weighty downs, the 3rd down situations, the 2nd and longs, the key pass plays.
The throw on time. Hochuli to Bateman, a 1st down, and he gets slammed down at the 43-yard line. 18 yards, and that was really well executed.
It certainly was on all aspects, the route, and how about that throw? Tyler Huntley right back in the pocket, puts it right on the 2 of the 12 that Rashad Bateman is wearing. And that rookie out of Minnesota, Bateman, really starting to come on for this Baltimore Ravens team. Hurt early in camp, didn't really hit his stride until about week 5, week 6, and since that time continues to elevate his game.
Good size and speed, 27th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Jet sweep. Duvernay turns the corner, lowers the shoulder, and takes a hit as he goes out of bounds. Gain of 2. Cameron Sutton over there in run support.
They're going to have to do plenty of these types of things, a lot of looks that they want to throw at the Steelers defense, because we are not used to hearing this phrase. The Pittsburgh Steelers last in the league in run defense.
You're right.
I mean, that's just not something you ever expect with a Pittsburgh Steelers team. But they're going to want to be able to show a lot of different things with them, because it's not the same running back group that you're used to getting with Baltimore, but still capable.
Low snap, look out. And he gets drilled on the play by TJ Watt. TJ Watt has got himself into the history books, and the Ravens turn it over. Not the way that you design it, on a busted play, as the ball never got out cleanly from Bozeman.
Yeah, he ended up hitting his own backside. That causes the start of the problems. TJ Watt's on the spot, and not only does he get the quarterback, but he does something else that he's used to doing as well. He strips the ball free. So when we talk about the sack record with TJ Watt, it's not just getting quarterbacks on the ground, it's all the extras. That's his 22nd strip sack of his career.
He has tied Michael Strahan's NFL single-season record.
It's a 1st down.
TJ Watt, when you visualize these big moments, he's still a sack away from holding it himself.
Right.
But when you visualize these big moments, you just never know how it's going to happen. And that play from the start was doomed for Baltimore.
So you're saying you don't think that TJ Watt saw the ball hitting the center's backside first, going on the ground, quarterback's down, strips him that way because he continues with the play, because Huntley had every opportunity to get up and make a play. And then the rest of the pile gets in there and takes the ball for Pittsburgh.
Now we get into a gray area, whether or not the stat crew is going to list that as a sack.
Do we have home stat crews and road? I mean, you know, like baseball, is it a no-hitter, not a no-hitter?
We'll let them discuss it, and we'll determine the official word. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, Roethlisberger hits Zach Gentry for a first down. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, Najee Harris currently on the sideline here. They're putting a sleeve on that right arm. He spent the entire previous series working with the athletic training staff and Dr. Jim Bradley, testing the strength and the grip that he had. They were also taking a closer look at that right elbow. So we're going to see if he can try and make it through this. No official word yet from the Steelers. I'll keep you up to date as best I can.
Yeah, Benny Snell is in there replacing Harris, which will be a huge loss for Pittsburgh, the way they've used him as a bell cow. Snell, good speed to the outside. Aggressive runner. He's chased down by Tyus Bowser on the play. It's a 5-yard gain for Benny Snell.
Well, if there is an optimistic look at this, all right, Harris is out, obviously, but this is the type of day that is built for Benny Snell. This is what he is made for, being able to run between the tackles, bad weather, you know, where they used to call it at Kentucky when he ran teams into submission, they called it Benny Snell football. Can he be that type of a runner if they need that, if Najee Harris is out for an extended period of time?
He had 3 1,000-yard seasons at Kentucky. And it's Snell again. Bursting through for a first down inside the 15. Gains 9. Good block from Leglu.
Nice job there. Hassenauer the center, Leglu combining there to give them a nice little crease and opening. And Benny Snell's a one-cut runner. He sees it, and he's gone. And look at that, Leglu, as you pointed out, 77, gets his first block, climbs to the second level to get a second one.
Joe Haig is in at left tackle, the injury to Dan Moore. They were hoping Moore would be a go, but couldn't get here because of the ankle issue. First down at the 14-yard line. Working out of the gun, high snap. Roethlisberger tees it up. Incomplete. Intended for Claypool. Out on the perimeter, coverage from Tavon Young for the Ravens.
That ball's out of Ben Roethlisberger's hands on the break for Chase Claypool. And after the play, Ben was motioning the Claypool and the bench. Not sure if it was an error in route, just a matter of timing. Something there was there that affected that play. Ben thought they might have had something, not able to complete it.
Second down for the Steelers. Pittsburgh looking to strike first. Claypool motion man. Handoff. It's Snell. Runs into a wall at the 15-yard line. Calais Campbell is a human wall at 6'8", 300. Loss of 1.
You know what they say about play inside? That's reserved for full-grown men. Watch the left side of your screen. Calais Campbell, number 93, takes the youngster out of Tulane, John Leglu, and just bench presses him back into the backfield, sheds him, and makes the play.
Hey, Charles, one piece of housekeeping. It will go down as an aborted play. T.J. Watt does not get credit for a sack. 3rd and 11.
He wants the Pittsburgh scorekeeper for that one.
Shotgun. 4 receiver set. Roethlisberger over the middle. Deontay Johnson gets hit hard. And the question will be the spot. He got it just inside the 5-yard line, it appears.
It's 4th down, Ben.
And as pretty as this pass was, this route was won by Deontay Johnson right off the line of scrimmage. Look at the separation he got from the veteran Jimmy Smith as he went inside. He absorbed the hit from Chuck Clark, but he had so much space, Ben's able to get it to him before trouble comes up in number 36, Clark, and gets it close to a first down.
Yeah,
it'll be a 4th down decision, I believe.
He took a big pop, and Johnson is still down on the play for Pittsburgh. We'll come right back.
Iron Eagle.
Well, JB, this is part and parcel with the 2021 NFL season. You don't know what you're going to get every week.
I feel like we can hear Big Jim Moore right now. You think you know, but you just don't know.
Deontay Johnson now on the sideline for Pittsburgh. They're going 2 tight ends, a fullback, and going for it on 4th and a yard.
Absolutely the right decision here. Fortune favors the bold if you're trying to make the playoffs.
Watt, the motion man. And a whistle. Ravens pointing in Pittsburgh's direction. Flag is down at the 16-yard line.
Ball start. Offense, number 24. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Shawn Hochuli the call. 24 is Benny Snell, who has stepped in for Najee Harris.
So guess who was supposed to get the ball on that play? Benny Snell. I mean, he was eager to take the handoff and go, and instead he causes the jump. So now you do have to kick the field goal, because it's not smart football now to go for it on 4th and 6 after a long drive. Try and get some points on the board here early.
It is a chip shot for Chris Boswell. 23-yarder, right down the middle. Steelers on the board first. 3-0 lead for Pittsburgh as Jacksonville leads Indianapolis 7-0. We're back in a moment. Last meeting, week 13, 20-19 win over the Ravens. Failed 2-point conversion. Lamar Jackson. Now we asked John Harbaugh. He said, "Hey, this is killing him not to be out there, but it's been painful." Mark Andrews said Lamar Jackson is a top-notch competitor. He's the leader of our team. He's been around. He's obviously interacting with his teammates, but not a part of the action here today to potentially wrap up the season as Duvernay takes it across the 30-yard line. NFL playoffs are here. It all kicks off. Super wild card weekend action gets started. Saturday doubleheader followed by a Sunday tripleheader, and for the first time ever, a wild card Monday. 3 days, 6 games, one epic weekend. The road to Super Bowl 56 starts here. Tyler Huntley will have 2 tight ends in this formation. Freeman behind him. They will shift out of the pistol on first down from the 31. 6 minutes to go here in the first, and flags fly, a lot of them.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's McCary. So for Baltimore, still a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless to make the playoffs. They would need a win. The Indy loss at Jacksonville. Miami loss or tie. A Charger loss against the Raiders as well.
I don't think the movie Dumb and Dumber has been quoted more than this week, has it?
No.
Right? Because of all these permutations for Baltimore. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it comes down to. But they have to take care of business here first.
Floated upstairs. Caught by Mark Andrews. Somewhere Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels are watching going, yep, keep mentioning it.
Royalties. But how about this play by Andrews? Over the top of Edmonds, number 34. That almost was a helmet catch. Watch how he brings it down, and see the helmet there with Edmonds getting between the ball and Andrews' hands. Andrews just used the helmet to cradle the football and ensure the catch.
And his 100th catch of the season. What a year he has put together. A handoff from Murray. Keeps the legs churning as he squeezes out 4 yards on the play. Loudermilk with the tackle for Pittsburgh. We'll hit the 5-minute mark of this opening quarter. Ravens have made the playoffs each of the last 3 seasons. Pittsburgh was in the postseason last year. Lost to Cleveland in that wild card game. The Ravens fell in the divisional round to Buffalo. Out of the pistol, Tomlinson motion man. Huntley out of the pocket, on the move. Huntley slowed down and then crushed from the side by Hayward. And that will be a sack, number 10 on the season for Cameron Hayward, the Pro Bowler.
There's TJ Watt celebrating along with his teammates, even though he's not in the ball game. But you're looking downfield, who's open? No one. Nothing there, nothing there. So Huntley has to exit the pocket, and look at the pursuit by Cameron Hayward. Big number 97. He makes a lot of things happen for that guy we just saw on the sidelines, number 90, TJ Watt. He occupies blockers inside to give Watt more one-on-one opportunities on the edge.
Huntley. Rainbow. Nearly intercepted. That was not clean from Edmonds. He had it. It was on the ground. He scooped it back up. And now the officials will have to take a look.
But a good job by the officials for letting it play out, because they didn't kill it right away. just in case it is an interception. So they're not sure. So they're taught, don't blow the whistle too early to finish off the play. Let the play finish out, then we go from there.
Is that the pass was intercepted by Pittsburgh, and he was touched down by contact at the 34-yard line. It's first down, Pittsburgh. Timeout.
Well, as we know, all turnovers are reviewed, so they're going to take a look at this to determine whether or not it's a clean pick. Andrews did touch him as he was falling over, so this one might stand even though he lost the ball. We're going to find out. Our rules analyst, Gene Steratore, joins us right now. Gene, you just watched this play. Tell us what you saw.
I think Mark Andrews does the Steelers a real favor, because when Edmonds possesses the ball firmly down on the ground, we see Andrews touch him, which would put Edmonds down by contact with control of the ball, and the play becomes dead at that moment. That's why they confirmed that interception, guys.
Yeah, Gene, great job. That's exactly why Pittsburgh has the ball right now. That contact ended it right there. Benny Snell remains in there with the injury to Najee Harris, and he runs into a crowd after a gain of 2.
So it does get a tad murky if Andrews doesn't touch him.
Yeah, because the ball then popped free.
So now is it he didn't complete the process of the catch, or is it an interception now a fumble, and what happens after that? Bottom line, the point is moot because Andrews touched him and it becomes interception, but that was a very interesting play.
Second down and 8 for the Steelers. They have a 3-0 lead with 3:20 to play in this opening quarter. Motion man McLeod. Snell again. Sticks the helmet down and picks up 2. Check in with Evan.
Well, and you mentioned Najee Harris still on the sideline. He's got a bulky brace on that right elbow. I'm told he's probable to return, but he's been spending a lot of time over here working with teammates on ball security, with Mason Rudolph on handoffs, having defenders come over, try and punch it out. Again, no helmet right now, but probable to return.
Evan, ball security is huge for Najee Harris. You go all the way back to high school. He's always been terrific with taking care of the football. Came into this game leading the NFL in touches, 0 fumbles on the year.
When we spoke with Najee Harris yesterday, we asked him, hey, anything with that rookie wall? He said, no. Everybody was telling me about it. In fact, if anything, at Alabama, I hit the freshman wall. We played in so many games, I wasn't ready for it physically. He said, I was prepared this year. I've had no issue with that whatsoever.
Well, all of his years at Alabama, they always played a lot of extra games, usually ending up in a title game, so he got used to longer seasons. That had to help.
3rd down and 6. Roethlisberger tosses, catch, and Freiermuth is going to have enough for the first down at the 45. He got hit there from Tyus Bowser, and a 7-yard pickup through the air.
And watch Ben Roethlisberger move to his right and find an open Freiermuth, to be able to get him the football, and he gets just enough there to pick up the first down. Ben Roethlisberger came off of his first read, looking to the left, came back to the right to find the open man. He may not move the way he did as a youngster, but he still moves well enough, and his mind is moving at warp speed.
We've seen Benny Snell in there. Now we see Kalen Ballage, 6'2", 231 pounds, formerly with Miami, the Jets, and the Chargers. Roethlisberger will throw it flat-footed, intercepted. A toss to Geno Stone, and Baltimore gets the ball back. Big Ben taking a shot downfield, but McLeod looked like the defensive player, and Stone and Young looked like they were just waiting for it. It is a simple scenario here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A win and an Indianapolis loss at Jacksonville. Chargers and Raiders, no tie in that game. That's a whole other bag of worms. Running down the sideline, Devontae Freeman. He takes a hit from Minkah Fitzpatrick. What a good rip. 22 yards for Baltimore.
Something they haven't had as much of this year. Watch with Freeman coming back to his left, reading it so well. What I'm saying, not as much as what they're used to getting, an explosive run. Runs of 10 to 15 yards or more. Not nearly as many this season with the injuries to J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards earlier this year.
Line of scrimmage is the 47. Baltimore now on the move. Huntley on a give. Freeman tries a spin, and he gets walloped. There was a wave of Steeler defenders, including Arthur Millette.
This first quarter's been characterized by turnovers. Bad snap there by Bradley Bozeman. Tyler Huntley not able to possess it after T.J. Watt strips it. Steelers come up with the football gun, Henry Mondew. And then this one overthrown by Tyler Huntley for Mark Andrews. Terrell Edmonds with the interception. And then right a series ago, Ben Roethlisberger trying to find Ray McCloud downfield. The connection's not there because Geno Stone comes up with the interception.
Career interception 211 for Ben Roethlisberger, a Steeler record. Marquise Brown with the catch and a zigzag move to the outside. Ben and Terry Bradshaw were tied at 210. Stay around long enough.
You accumulate those kind of numbers, and somewhere Terry's happy to let that record go. Nice concentration and focus there by Marquise Brown on that route. Almost felt like that ball was tipped a little bit as it was passed from Huntley to him. But Marquise Brown stays with it.
Interception percentage, we should mention, for Ben Roethlisberger, much lower, though, than Terry Bradshaw's. 18 years in the NFL for Big Ben.
Terry says thank you. Appreciate that.
Sorry, Terry. Second quarter coming up. The Steelers and Ravens on Steelers and Ravens here in Baltimore. Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead. Both fan bases keeping an eye on Indianapolis and Jacksonville as well. 7-0 lead for the Jaguars in that one. Shotgun for Huntley, first play of the second quarter. Steps up. Huntley trying to run, slow down, gets up again, and gets blasted at the 45-yard line. Chris Wormley got over there, the former Baltimore Raven. NFL Today update. JB and Coach Cowher.
Indy trying to reverse an 0-5 trend in Jacksonville.
Yeah, good sign for Indianapolis. 3rd and 7. Carson Wentz to T.Y. Hilton for 33 yards, and they are driving now into Jacksonville territory.
Take it back to Iron Eagle.
All right, JB, it affects both teams because nothing happens unless Jacksonville pulls off the upset against Indianapolis for either team. It's a fake and a toss. Cook broken up. And the Steelers will take over. The 16-year veteran Sam Cook trying to make it happen down the sideline.
On a punt formation, it's first down Pittsburgh, timeout.
That's the first incompletion in Sam Cook's career. Was 7 for 7 prior to that throw.
Tylan Wallace, rookie out of Oklahoma State, the intended receiver. He's got 2 catches on the season, and right now he's hurt, and the Steelers get the ball back. Welcome back, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Sam Cook, Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, Pro Bowler in 2015. He had been perfect in the regular season, 7 of 7 throwing the ball in his career. He's now 7 of 8.
And it was there. It was absolutely there. The wide receiver trying to get outside against good coverage, unable to complete the play.
Play fake, lunging catch made by McCloud, but held for no gain on the play at the 45. Well covered by Patrick Queen, who John Harbaugh said he's seen major improvements since week 6. There's been a big jump. It's all slowed down for him, and he said there's still a lot of room to grow. Yeah, and it's interesting with a player you have to slow down a little bit, meaning with Patrick Queen's speed and his ability to get to the ball, sometimes he overruns plays. But they told him, see it before you go and be sure in the tackle. Second down and 10. No chance. Patrick Queen steps in initially, and then Tyus Bowser finishes the play off.
You talk about hitting it perfectly. The timing, absolutely sensational. Patrick Queen from the second level in the linebacker spot gets to the line of scrimmage 1 step before the ball is snapped and shoots through before anyone can block him. Loss of 6 on the play, matching his jersey number.
So back it up, 3rd and long for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Underneath toss, McLeod trying to make it happen, and he is chopped down across the 45-yard line. Steelers had tremendous field position, couldn't do anything with it. 7-yard gain via the pass, and now they'll punt it. Presley Harvin is on. Return man is Duvernay, who's averaging 14.4 yards per return, along with 42, and a Pro Bowler. High kick, Harvin. Duvernay fields it at the 21-yard line. It's a 34-yard punt. Ravens get the ball back. Pittsburgh is nursing a 3-0 lead in the football's iconic show inside the NFL, streaming Tuesdays at 9:30 on Paramount Plus.
How about this game early? Has an old school feel to it, doesn't it? Defense is kind of dominating here in the early going.
Weather a factor. It's been raining throughout. Ravens trying to snap a 5-game losing streak, the longest streak since dropping 9 straight in 2007. On the hop step from Devontae Freeman, and he gains 3. NFL Today update. Let's send it to New York. JB and the coach.
The other Josh Allen stifling the drive.
Yeah, Indianapolis was driving, but on 3rd and 3, Josh Allen is going to sack Carson Wentz. Indianapolis will have to settle for a Michael Badgley 41-yard field goal. Jacksonville still leads 7-3.
Ian Eagle, back to you, sir.
And Trevor Lawrence, guys, is 11 of 11 in the first half of that game for Jacksonville, wrapping up his rookie season. Hochuli gets rid of it. Incomplete. Steelers are acting as if they picked it off with Fitzpatrick, and he's still running. And the Ravens are trying to tackle him.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
I mean, that felt like a lot of excessive action there, didn't it?
It did, and Arthur Millette is injured on the play for Pittsburgh. So athletic training staff comes over to assist Millette. Lost his helmet on the play. And he needs a moment.
Still trying to determine why they thought that was an interception. Did I miss something?
Maybe they considered it a fumble.
Yes.
They thought, all right, hey, if I didn't hear a whistle, I'll just keep doing it until someone tells me differently.
Well, that's what defensive coaches pound into you all the time. Loose ball, pick it up, and make the officials make the determination. Millette has done a nice job this season coming on as a better run defender and kind of a blitzing safety. He goes to the bench to get a little extra attention. He's
been well-traveled. New Orleans, Indianapolis, and the Jets. Good sign that he just ran off on his own to the sideline for Pittsburgh. This is 3rd and 7 now for the Ravens.
Remember in the last game, Pittsburgh had 7 sacks against Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley wants the ball in his hands a lot quicker in this one.
Huntley, step and throw, knocked around, incomplete. Andrews wants a flag. He's not going to get it. And the Steelers nearly had a pick on the deflection. Edmonds over there defensively for Pittsburgh.
Watch Edmonds, 34 and white. Look at him break on the football. And right there, gets an arm around Andrews. Andrews wanting the flag, as all receivers do. I think that looked like a good play. The timing looked good to me with Edmonds getting there about the same time the ball arrived.
Sam Cook, the punter.
I don't see a fake in this sequence.
Nostradamus.
Really went out there on a limb on that one, didn't it?
McLeod brings it in, takes it on an angle along the sideline, and a late flag comes in as he gets tossed to the perimeter at the 40-yard line. Eric Tomlinson over there on special teams.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 27. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
It is Marcus Allen called for the penalty on special teams. Pittsburgh's got the lead, 3-0. They've got the football when we come back. Want to take a moment and acknowledge today's down judge, Ed Camp. Today, Ed's working his final regular season game. 21 years as an active on-field official. I can tell you on a personal level, I've spent many a flight with Ed. Ed is a conscientious recliner if he sits in front of you.
He actually asks?
Yeah, he'll turn back, make sure you're cool with it. He's a great guy and a tremendous official.
So he doesn't go full recline?
No, he's not a full recline. Half recline.
It's just a good one, too. He's good man.
All the best to Ed. And a handoff for Benny Snell, and this was unexpected. The early injury to Najee Harris has forced Snell into extended action, a gain of 1. NFL Today update. JB, Coach Cowher.
And Evan.
And guys, that #1 seed on the line. If Tennessee can get it done, they will have home field advantage and a first-round bye in the NFL playoffs.
And that's a team that could use that week off, considering the amount of injuries and players they've used this season.
Roethlisberger loads it up. Open man, Zach Gentry, first down. Ben Roethlisberger hooks a pass. It covers 25 yards, and Pittsburgh is in Baltimore territory.
And Tyus Bowser, number 56 on the play there was Josh Bynes, who's not known as a good cover linebacker, much more of a tackler inside. He tries to get up underneath that route, not able to get there. Gentry wide open. Big Ben finds him for an excellent gain.
Monday. Set.
Now at the 45 of Baltimore, McLeod, the motion man. Running play for Snell. Forward progress will give him a yard as Brandon Stevens, rookie from SMU, slides in to help make the play.
You know, over time, as you've watched Ben develop and play, as we've seen this, the back nine of his career, he really reads the room so well.
Yeah.
Meaning, reading what the situation is, reading how his defense is playing, the whole mood of the ball game and how he goes about conducting himself and his offense.
Play fake, darts it underneath. Gentry launches himself in the air and will gain 2 yards in the process. When we asked John Harbaugh about Big Ben, he said, look, you play in the AFC and you coach in the AFC. You had Manning, you had Brady, and you had Ben, Queen, the injured Raven, on the play. All Hall of Fame quarterbacks. He said the thing that will always stick with him in regards to Big Ben, you literally could not bring him down. We invented the term plaster because you had to figure out a way just to attack him.
And be able to plaster to receivers downfield, because if he kept the play alive, he would find someone. Remember, it's not the first 3 seconds after the snap with Big Ben in his prime. It's those extra 3 seconds that he created where the big plays occurred.
Roethlisberger, nobody home. He got rid of it as the rush was coming, and Deontay Johnson went down on the play. The intended receiver, Queen, is still on the sideline as he's grabbing his chest.
You know how many times we hear coaches say, we're not worried about weather conditions, we just go out and play? Weather, field, doesn't matter? Well, it does matter, because the field conditions are a factor in this one. Not the first time we've seen a receiver slip trying to make a cut in this ball game. They got to figure out the right cleats, maybe come under balance a little bit better, but that is a factor here in the early going.
Kuhn snaps it. Harvin punts it. Duvernay in a crowd hauls it in at the 16-yard line. 26-yard punt, 8:46 to play in this first half. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from State Farm. Steelers and Ravens, second quarter action, 8:46 left to play. And Pittsburgh holding on to a 3-point lead over Baltimore. Devontae Freeman in the backfield. Huntley on the run. And Huntley gets out of bounds in his second year from Utah. Huntley said, look, I've watched Lamar. I've watched how other guys do it. I'm still learning every week. Every play means something. That's been my approach. But, boy, he's come in with a very mature attitude on how to handle the position and how to get command of the offense.
And I liked one thing he told you. He said he's learning from Josh Johnson, the number 3 quarterback, the veteran guy, about pre-snap recognition in order to make playing the game easier.
Fake and throw, and a good snatch there. Marquise Brown for 10 yards. and a first down. Well, Lamar Jackson, Pro Bowler this season. The numbers a little high on the interception side. That pass is online and on time to Mark Andrews, inching closer to the Ravens' single-season record for catches in a year. Let's go to New York. JB, coach.
Jacksonville still makes it tough on Indy at home.
Yeah, Matthew Wright, 22-yard field goal here in the first half, giving a 10-3 lead, and Trevor Lawrence, 15-17 for 164 yards in the first half.
Ian Eagle.
All right, guys, Tyler Huntley gets out of the pocket. And Chris Wormley gets a piece.
He's pretty decisive in his actions, isn't he, Tyler Huntley? When he makes a decision, decides to go, he does it very well. He's not just kind of, you know, tiptoeing around back there. Do I, don't I? Hey, it's time to go. He goes. And that's something you don't get very often out of young quarterbacks who are just making their fourth start.
Charles, how about his path? Coming out of Utah, where he put up excellent numbers, he was not invited to the combine. He said that tested me. Was football even for me? It hit him really hard. On a give, Freeman, not much room to work with. He'll pick up 2. Good effort to the outside. He got a call from the Ravens during the draft, and they told him, hey, we're not going to select you, but we want to sign you. And that put the fire back in his belly. He rededicated himself because at that point he wasn't really sure what the future held for him.
Yeah, he said the quarterback coach James Urban said, listen, if we sign you, that means we believe in you. He said that help reignite the spark for him.
2nd and 8. Quick to the flat. Andrews hit immediately by Joe Hayden, who has been in there spot duty for the Steelers, as Witherspoon has seen a lot of time. They just wanted to work Hayden in because he didn't get any practice time this week. No gain on the play for Baltimore. 6:08 left to go in this first half.
And you know, Pittsburgh has to be uber conscious of where Mark Andrews is on the field at all times, because a good tight end is any quarterback's best friend, but especially so when you're talking about a young quarterback like Tyler Huntley. He's going to look for Mark Andrews first and foremost in most situations.
Marquise Brown, another target potentially. He's over 1,000 yards in the season. Look out. The throw just at the last moment. T.J. Watt was so close to getting home. Incomplete.
And this is part of the decisiveness of Tyler Huntley. He knew that he was out of time. The panic button had gone off, and the bell's ringing as Watt goes through 2 blockers. He went through Tomlinson first, McCary second, and then Huntley was like, nope, got to get rid of it, and is gone before he can effect the sack.
Sam Cook will punt it once again for Baltimore. Snapper is Nick Moore. Pressure. Cook gets it away cleanly. McLeod ranges over to bring it in at the 19-yard line, a 40-yard kick. Pittsburgh maintains the 3-0 lead over Baltimore. Last month, Baltimore wide receiver Devin Duvernay, alongside Ravens cheerleaders and mascot Poe, visited a local hospital distributing coffee, treats, and Ravens-themed giveaways, all to show support and appreciation for local healthcare workers. Devin Duvernay, Pro Bowler this season on special teams. Right now, he and the Ravens are down 3-0 to the Steelers. A 10-3 lead for Jacksonville over the Colts. Roethlisberger, pump fake, throw, incomplete. He tried to force that one into Gentry. It'll be 2nd and 10. So for the Steelers, they get a win here. And if Indianapolis were to lose to Jacksonville, the only thing that could ruin their potential playoff plans would be a tie.
Las Vegas and Los Angeles Chargers.
Correct.
I'm going to venture to say that those 2 teams have had a quick phone call. We're not doing that, guys. Okay, we're playing. One of us is going to win this game.
2nd and 10. Running play for Snell. And he is wrestled to the ground as he crossed the 20-yard line. Picks up 2. The combination of Campbell and Queen make the stop for Baltimore.
Good to see Queen back out there after the injury that sent him to the sideline about a series ago. Calais Campbell still doing it. doing it so well all these years. 212 games played, 193 starts. The guy's been an all-pro, Pro Bowl performer consistently and provides incredible leadership for that big front. Even though he doesn't have all the guys there he's used to having. Normally they call themselves the Monstars. Well, he's big enough himself to be all of them in one.
Roethlisberger, deep drop, delivers downfield, nearly picked off. Chuck Clark had 2 last week, including 1 for a touchdown in the 20-19 loss to the LA Rams. And the Steelers give it up and will punt.
And if he's able to come up with this one, there's a chance for a good return, because even extending out, if he's able to catch it and get up and go, there was plenty of space for him to make some headway back. And now they should pick up good field position after this punt.
Big Ben is 8 of 13, 66 yards and a pick. Harvin's punt will take a Steeler roll and settle in at the 29-yard line. That's where the Ravens will have it. 50-yard kick. And we'll be back in 30 seconds right after this.
With Farmers Auto multi-policy discount, the more policies you have with us, the more you could save on your auto insurance.
Hey, hon.
Hi, honey.
Like what?
Well, you'd get a discount for insuring your jet skis and boat, RV, life, home, and more. You could save up to 45%.
That's a whole lot of discounts.
Well, we offer coverage for a whole lot of things, and you could save a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks.
What's up, Dad?
17-car garage you got there?
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Before a member of the kicking team that was out of bounds touched it, therefore there is no foul. It's first down.
No penalty on that kick, so Baltimore will have the football. We've got the scores for you at the bottom of the screen throughout the day, all the playoff implications. This game certainly a factor in that, with Indianapolis and Jacksonville developing some serious potential drama around the AFC. Keith Butler, defensive coordinator for the Steelers, not coaching today. COVID protocol, so Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin are handling those calls. Floater caught by Mark Andrews. And the Pro Bowler takes it into Pittsburgh territory. 28-yard hookup for the Ravens.
What a beautifully thrown football, but watch Andrews running this over route from his right to his left, and that ball put right in the bucket there for Mark Andrews. Running away from the defense, Huntley led him with the pass perfectly.
1st and 10 for Baltimore. Driving inside, Latavius Murray for 3 yards. We are under 4 minutes to go in this second quarter. Alex Highsmith with a tackle for Pittsburgh. Mark Andrews. He has matched Derek Mason for the most catches in a season in Ravens history. Mason did it back in 2007. 2nd and 7. Huntley steps up. Huntley runs into his own man and now covers up. That will go down as a sack as he hit the backside of Zeitler.
Yeah, he was always grateful for the help from an offensive line like Kevin Zeitler. But that was one time, if he was able to get past Zeitler, he might have had a chance to get downfield. But Zeitler engaged with Chris Wormley, neither one of them giving an inch. And Tyler Huntley runs right into the backside of him and knocks him down.
And that's a loss of 4 on the play. So now 3rd and 11 here for Baltimore. Freeman shifts out of the backfield. Huntley operates from the gun. Steps up, tosses it downfield. Incomplete. It looked like he had Andrews open. There was a stumble at the end of the play, got turned around, and it's 4th down for Baltimore.
I think what Huntley saw was a post player in the middle, someone established in the middle of the field, so he didn't want to throw the ball in that direction, so he threw it behind Andrews, hoping that Andrews could adjust and turn around and make the catch. On a dry field with sure footing, he has a much better opportunity today. Ends up spinning his wheels and falling down. But I think Huntley was trying to keep him away from the safety in the middle of the field.
Between these two teams, we've had a combined 6 straight punts. And it's Sam Cook once again. Looking to place this one in the corner. And does his job. down near the 6-yard line. Well placed by Sam Cook, and Miles Boykin got downfield to catch it. Saturday afternoon, CBS will be in Lawrence. Big time Big 12 battle, West Virginia and 6th-ranked Kansas. We'll see you Saturday for more college hoops here on CBS.
Big 12 battle, Big 12 basketball. Whew. I mean, they go at it. Kansas had a tough one last night at Texas Tech, who's back in the poll at number 25. Bob Huggins and his Mountaineers, they always give you a battle.
Do you sleep, Charles?
Occasionally.
Catch a nap occasionally? You know everything that's going on. 2:35 to play in this second quarter. Roethlisberger on a handoff. Balaj is going to get his shot. And they are sticking with the run, even though Najee Harris is no longer a part of it. Man, we've got some extracurricular going on around the 20-yard line that finally got separated by the officials.
It's Ravens Steelers, and we're just talking about the extracurricular for the first time at 2:13 of the first half. They're going to play to the echo of the whistle, these two teams. And as Evan Washburn, our colleague, told us at the top of the show, as Mike Tomlin said, we don't worry about anything else when you're dealing with the purple. You just deal with Baltimore. And Baltimore feels the same way about Pittsburgh.
2 minutes to play. First half, 3-0. Steelers on top of the ring. Through the years, Ben Roethlisberger against the Baltimore Ravens. When we asked him about this matchup, he said, you got to be tough to play in these games. Hardest hit I ever took was from Bart Scott. He said all the great players that have been a part of this. I treat it like Rocky in my head. I just remind myself I have to get up. Through the hands of Deontay Johnson, and it's incomplete. Roethlisberger is now 8 of 14 for 66 yards. Steelers have a total of 83 yards of offense. To New York, JB and Coach.
Tennessee would like everything to come through Nashville.
Yeah, number 1 CB locked up with a win. Ryan Tannehill to A.J. Brown from 14 yards out. They now take a 14-0 lead over Houston.
Well, we are wearing Iron Eagle out.
Thank you very much, guys. Mike Vrabel has done a fantastic job.
Remarkable. What are we talking about? 85 players, I believe, that have been utilized by Tennessee this year. He and John Robinson, the GM, and their scouting department, they always have guys available to sign.
Roethlisberger on 3rd and 10. Receiver goes down. It's incomplete. Freiermuth, the intended target in a matchup with the veteran Tony Jefferson, who is back with the Baltimore Ravens.
I think their feet get tangled up on that play, and you know, if they're both making an honest play for the football, officials aren't going to call any interference on that one. And right now, what's happening gradually, the field position keeps getting better for the Baltimore Ravens. Can they take advantage of it here right before the half?
Closing moments of that first half. Jacksonville, Indianapolis. Jaguars are in the red zone. Not a great punt there from Harvin. He gets a roll for Pittsburgh, but it's going to end up being just 33 yards out of its own end zone. So Baltimore will have terrific field position. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
And talk with Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator of Baltimore, and he said, we're going to be aggressive in this ball game because we don't have the same runners we've had before. It's a great spot on the field to be aggressive with Tyler Huntley. Try and find some of these receivers downfield.
Shotgun. Huntley steps up. Huntley will run down the sideline. He's still going. He gets bumped just short of the 20-yard line. 18 yards, good deception from Tyler Huntley as he made Witherspoon miss.
Now watch when he breaks out and goes. Watch him point. He's telling Eric Tomlinson, 85, you take care of him. Just get me to the sideline. Just give me a little bit of an escort. Another decisive read by Tyler Huntley against the Pittsburgh Steelers coverage, and he hot-foots it down for a big first down.
We asked him about playing the position. He said to him, it's all about being a leader, communication, talking to your guys in the huddle, really talking to them. Huntley, well placed as he hits Mark Andrews, and that is now a new single-season Ravens record for most catches. It belongs to Mark Andrews.
And understanding that he has a receiver who can make those adjustments. Mark Andrews essentially held off Robert Spillane with the left side of his body and made the catch with the right side of his body. Able to turn around because Huntley trusted that he would understand what he was doing with that ball placement that you just described.
It'll be a 2nd down and 3. Baltimore is threatening at the 15-yard line. Timeout called by the Steelers. They have 2 remaining. Meanwhile, Jacksonville has a 1st and goal, trying to add to its 10-3 lead over Indianapolis.
And notice how these last few series, the creep of yardage was in Baltimore's favor. Now we're picking up on that in terms of field position after stopping Pittsburgh.
2nd down and 3. Huntley dances, dives, 1st down inside the 10. 1st and goal for the Ravens.
And watch the left tackle and guard come back the other way to try and help out Tyler Huntley. And look at him getting downfield. Rashad Bateman, number 12, the rookie out of Minnesota, also helping. And anytime you get a bigger run, that means your receivers are helping downfield. Rashad Bateman doing his part, trying to block Cameron Sutton.
And the dual threat skills of Tyler Huntley, we've seen them on this drive for Baltimore. Pistol formation. Freeman. Huntley tosses to him, and he's spilled out. Hit by Cameron Sutton out in the flat. 1-yard gain.
Great read by Cameron Sutton because they were trying to get Devontae Freeman out in the flat and get him on a one-on-one play. And Sutton says, no problem with the one-on-one. I'll win that battle. And cuts his legs out from underneath him.
So timeout was called. 35 seconds to go in this 1st half. Coming up, Verizon halftime report. JB and the gang. Scores, highlights, playoff updates, all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 2nd and goal for Baltimore.
Where is Mark Andrews? He is always the #1 threat in a situation like this.
Huntley steps up. Huntley gets crushed. Flag down. It'll be a sack for the Pittsburgh defense. Hayward can't believe that there was a flag thrown.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 97. The penalty is half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Automatic, 1st down.
They chased him down well. Did they hit him in the head and shoulder area? Is that what's going to be the call? Let's see. Yeah, that's where the call is. You see where Cameron Hayward comes in to make the play, and there's his helmet into the helmet of Tyler Huntley. That's why the flags came out.
So the ball will be placed at the 3. 1st and goal.
Ben Cleveland, the rookie out of Georgia, 66, is the best baller at guard, left side.
Huntley holds, steps up. Huntley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history.
Second, 30-second timeout.
Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record, 22.5 sacks. T.J. Watt comes through again.
It's interesting in our conversation with him, you asked him about the record and emotions and all that, and he shot that down pretty quickly, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, hey, I'm done talking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
He was respectful.
Very respectful, but he was like, hey, I'm in a good, what did he say? I'm in a good zone right now. Guess what? He was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because you saw how the emotions came out there, because it's still 2nd and goal. So he wants his team to be great, but he also wanted to take care of business as well, and he just did in terms of a personal level.
2nd down for Baltimore. Huntley fires off the hands of Marquise Brown. Incomplete. 19 seconds left in the clock. 3rd and goal.
Initial blush. This is a well-thrown football. Brown has to come up with it, and the answer is yes. On the easy look, that ball's right there. Not much more for him to do but to develop the football and cross the goal line. That's a missed opportunity there by Marquise Brown.
A field goal for Jacksonville. They lead the Colts 13-3 at halftime.
You know, we were going over this week. They've beaten them the last 6 times at home, 5 of them to Jacksonville. I'm not sure we believed there would be another time, but right now they're making an effort.
Baltimore, their 3rd and final timeout of the half, 30 seconds in length.
So the Ravens have used their final timeout. They face a 3rd and goal, trailing 3-0 to Pittsburgh. 19 seconds on the clock.
I've got to get Huntley on the move on this one myself. You know, a couple of the big plays in this drive have come with him operating with his feet. Able to get out of the pocket for a big run, and then on the called quarterback run play, another big run as well. I want to give him the opportunity to make a throw or run it towards the end zone. I'm not just leaving him static in the pocket.
Now keep in mind, because they have no more timeouts remaining, if they don't get in, or if it's not an incomplete pass, they may run out of time to get their field goal unit out there.
So even if you get him on the move, things have to happen at a quick pace.
3rd and goal. Huntley looking, knocked down by Watt, and it stops the clock with 14 seconds left.
You know, when people debate the defensive player of the year and talk about, well, I know he had a lot of sacks. Look at everything else TJ Watt does. Plays the run, bats balls away in the passing game. Watch Huntley as he drifts right, and he drifts right into number 90, who gets his hands up in the air and knocks it away. What a stand for Pittsburgh. A big march by Baltimore. They're going to force him into a field goal attempt at the end of this drive.
And it'll be Justin Tucker, 5-time Pro Bowler, looking to tie it up. 24-yard attempt. Automatic. We are knotted up at 3 apiece with 11 seconds to play in the first half. And how fitting is it? Ben Roethlisberger, potentially his last game. We don't know. Things right now are going a certain way that this may not be it. But the fact that he's back here in Baltimore, where it all began for him, stepped in for the injured Tommy Maddox back in 2004. It was week 2, and when we asked him about it, he said, I thought it was going to be for a play, maybe a series. And then he realized, oh, wait, I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm going against Hall of Famers. He said, that's not fair.
Hall of Famers, all pros, Pro Bowl players on every level of that defense, and you're throwing the rookie in for that. He acquitted himself nicely that day. First touchdown pass to Antoine Randall.
Yep.
And what did he say? It closes the circle, right?
It does.
Back here to finish things off here at Baltimore.
And guess what? On that day, they wanted to take his head off.
Oh, yeah.
Today, they also want to take his head off.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
18 years later.
But I will say this. When he ran out for warm-ups, I heard nary a boo. And normally, he'd get a different reception here. The Baltimore fans giving him respect as well.
A lot of respect. Both ways. McLeod goes down just across the 25-yard line. Anthony Levine with a tackle. The date was September 19, 2004. Roethlisberger pump and throw. Antoine Randall 3 yards for the touchdown. And that was just the beginning for Ben Roethlisberger.
But this game does have a little bit of an old school feel in this rivalry, doesn't it? 3-3 at the half. Defense is making the biggest plays so far. Yes, the weather's a factor. But this does feel like a little bit of an old school Steelers-Ravens game.
So that Jacksonville-Indianapolis game is at the half, 13-3 Jaguars. We have hit the half here in Baltimore. Tied at 3. Halftime is next. After these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. Can have action here in Baltimore. The Steelers and the Ravens are tied at 3. Week 18, Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn. I have to get used to saying that. Week 18 in the NFL. We've got a confluence of events happening here right now in Baltimore. If either of these two teams are to make the playoffs, they've got to win. That's first and foremost. Then they need help, and that Indianapolis-Jacksonville game plays a very large role in that. Ben Roethlisberger, this could be his final game as a pro. And then T.J. Watt, NFL record for sacks in a season, matching the mark set by Michael Strahan.
And we thought this might be the first one, but because of the way the ball was snapped from Bradley Bozeman, it turned out just to be a lost play and a forced fumble by T.J. Watt. But there, he ties the record with the takedown of Tyler Huntley, and also kept them from getting in the end zone, because 2 plays later, he makes that play there. So that forced a field goal by Baltimore instead of a touchdown. And look at that, the tweet from the bro.
J.J. Watt with the tweet, no words, just proud, unbelievable, at T.J. Watt. So T.J. has himself in the record book no matter what. Now the question is, will he hold that record on his own? And then bigger picture, T.J. would tell you this, Ben Roethlisberger would tell you this. These storylines don't mean a whole lot, because they're focused on winning the football game and trying to keep their playoff hopes alive.
And that's what made tying the record so much better, because it was a first down play where he ties the record, swings up second down, and then on third down, he bats the ball away.
Return man Duvernay comes up short of the 35-yard line. Marcus Allen the play on special teams. Downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, and the Steelers lost leading rusher Najee Harris in the first series of this game. That right arm covered with a pretty heavy-duty brace. We haven't seen him since, but Mike Tomlin said we're still going to hammer away at the run game. Feels like they just need a splash play, to use a Tomlin term. Get some chunk yards, get some momentum going. Yeah, we've been in these type of games before. We know what it takes to walk away with a win, obviously, talking about this style of game and this rivalry. As for John Harbaugh, he mentioned ball security being critical here in the second half. Multiple turnovers in that first half for the Ravens.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. Injured Raven on special teams, as Baltimore will open up with possession of the football to start this second half. They're manipulating the neck area. We will step aside and come right back. Kevon Seymour up on his own feet, but in the pop-up 10. He was the injured Raven on the play, former 6th-round pick back in 2016. Practice squad member formerly with Buffalo and Carolina. So Baltimore will have it here, and the play of Tyler Huntley in that first half, 10 of 17, 98 yards through the air, an interception. Huntley effective, running the ball, 7 carries, 37 yards.
The issues always tend for young quarterbacks. How do you get the ball not just between the 20s, but advance it in, right? In the red zone, things happen a lot quicker in the red zone. More things come at you. It's the last piece to fall in place for young quarterbacks. Right at the end of the half, they had their struggles in the red zone. T.J. Watt with a sack, a pass batted away. They had to settle for a field goal after a good drive.
The last season that neither team made the playoffs, 2013. Handoff. Devontae Freeman gets drilled by Hayward. NFL Today update. We send it to New York. JB, Coach Coward.
This is how Indy came out of the locker room.
Oh, Carson Wentz don't make a bad play worse. He tries to get rid of the ball. Damian Wilson forces the fumble. Davon Hamilton recovers it. This will lead to a Matthew Wright 39-yard field goal, and Jacksonville is up 16-3 over Indianapolis.
Not pretty at all. Back to Ian Eagle.
The year of the unpredictable in the NFL, and the fact that Jacksonville right now is taking care of business against Indianapolis. Freeman slips away. 5-yard gain through the air as Devin Bush Jr. ranged over to make the play. Offensive numbers are not gaudy by any stretch. In fact, they're not very good for Pittsburgh. Just 82 total yards, couple of turnovers for Baltimore. The Steelers with 3 sacks in the first half.
And we will see. Look at third down conversions. 1 of 7 for Pittsburgh, 1 of 6 for Baltimore. But as Mike Tomlin told Evan Washburn, he wants to run it more. We'll see if those numbers go up.
Huntley on 3rd and 6. Gets the angle for the first down. Tyler Huntley, good command there. Picks up 8, pointing down the field, and then taking off with his legs.
Watch him as he exits to the right. Okay, now he pops out of there, and look at him orchestrating as you described. Hey, Rashad, you pick up the guy in the corner. And Joe Hayden was out there, gets enough yards for the first down. Discretion, the better part of valor, steps out of bounds, gets ready for the next snap.
75 different players have appeared in a game for the Ravens this season, tied for the most in franchise history. Murray takes that hole and turns it upfield. It is enough for a first down. That's a 10-yard burst for the veteran Latavius Murray. Ben Cleveland, Bradley Bozeman, key blocks up front.
Really good blocks, and also got one from Eric Tomlinson, number 85, playing the fullback position. Tomlinson normally a tight end, but their Pro Bowl fullback, Patrick Ricard, on the injured reserve list, injured reserve spot. He's not playing today. Tomlinson filling in with a nice lead block.
First down run, stutter step move. Murray, he's gonna go. Latavius Murray, touchdown. A 46-yard rip to put the Ravens in front.
So look at the Cleveland, 66, bowling around. Oliver, 84, a nice block up front. And Murray didn't have to go left, right, just straight down the middle for the big sprint for the first touchdown of the game.
So we've talked a lot about the Pittsburgh side of things, that it's easier to get into the postseason because they don't need as many things to happen. But Baltimore can still get in. A Ravens win will keep them alive. A Jacksonville win over Indianapolis would move them a step closer. Right now, they've got a 10-3 lead on the Steelers in the third. It is the longest run of the season for the Baltimore Ravens, longest rushing touchdown since 2014 for Latavius Murray, when he was back in his heyday with the Raiders.
That was a Pro Bowl year, wasn't it?
1,000-yard rusher back then.
Hey, don't let anyone get fooled. Yes, there are playoff implications with a lot of help, but as both sides told us, it's still Ravens Steelers. It means something to beat each other.
Returnable for Ray McLeod. Stops and gets hit at the 28-yard line. Chris Board on special teams. Follow the Dutton family west in the new epic Paramount Plus original series 1883, a Yellowstone origin story starring an Academy Award nominee Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill. 1883 now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they held a 3-0 lead for the majority of that first half. Ravens finally got some points late. But now Pittsburgh in a different position, down on the scoreboard by 7. Benny Snell gets to the outside, and Snell accelerates to the 35-yard line. Good block from Derek Watt for 7 yards. Roethlisberger, 8 of 15, 66 yards, and a pick.
The big number is at the bottom there. Huntley, 45 rush yards, being able to take off on a combination of called quarterback runs and also his ability to see the field and scramble and create yardage downfield. Let's see if that continues. But can Ben Roethlisberger take advantage at all with his receivers on the perimeter and fashion together some plays?
Roethlisberger has missed on his last 5 passes. That streak comes to an end. Catch and curl. Deontay Johnson, first down. Jimmy Smith there to greet him. 5 yards through the air for Pittsburgh.
You discussed it earlier, Ryan, about how many issues they've had in the secondary in Baltimore due to injuries, guys not being available to play. So that you would think that'd be a spot for Pittsburgh to have a chance to attack with Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Ray McLeod. That has not been the case so far in this game. Can it become the case? That's the big question for Pittsburgh as this one moves forward.
Anthony Averett is out, ribs, chest injury, little trickery. Claypool, running lane. The big athletic Chase Claypool has been effective carrying the ball this season. 12th carry of the year. That one's good for 14 yards. It gives him 77 yards rushing on the season.
Well, he announced himself last year with plays like this, and people started scouting and doing a better job. Good block out front by number 88, Pat Freiermuth, the rookie out of Penn State. to help clear the way. So people started to be more aware of Chase Claypool, less opportunities. He took advantage of an opening there.
Benny Snell in the backfield. Line of scrimmage just short of the 45 of Baltimore. 10:28 to go in the third. Fake the handoff. Roethlisberger through the air. Got his man. Deontay Johnson. First down. On the sideline route for 16. What a year Johnson has put together. Over 100 yards and closing in on over 100 catches, over nearly 1,200 yards receiving.
And what a route, because what he sold was him taking the ball, taking it deep. He really pressed it coming off the line of scrimmage. Looked like he was accelerating from 0 to 100 and threw the brakes on and came back for the football. It was well placed by Ben Roethlisberger.
At the 30-yard line. Steelers putting together a drive here, mix in the run. Snell driven backwards, won't go down on first contact. Holds on to the football as they were trying to take it away. Hit by Tyus Bowser on the play. 1-yard pickup. NFL Today update. JB and the coach.
Coach just can't get it clicking.
Here's Carson Wentz on 3rd and 19. He's 5 of 11 for 70 yards and a fumble. This was not intercepted. It was an incomplete pass. But right now, they are down 16-3 with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Back to Iron Eagle.
And you think about their season, Indianapolis, it looked over early, and then they looked unbeatable, Charles, for a stretch.
I mean, when they really announced was that game up in Buffalo, they trampled the Bills.
2nd down and 9. Roethlisberger underneath. Catch made. Deontay Johnson turns it upfield and gets to the sideline, right to the line to gain.
Excellent pass protection, but watch this route by Johnson. Sells it off the line of scrimmage like he's going inside, and then breaks it back to the outside against Chris Westry. Westry fortunate there wasn't a lot of space for Johnson to turn the corner and get upfield. The sideline helped Westry on that play.
It will be 3rd and 1. They mark him short, less than a yard. Tight formation. Multi-man McLeod. Snell needs a yard. Doesn't get it. Benny Snell gets stamped. Tyus Bowser. And now what do you do if you're Pittsburgh?
Look at that line of scrimmage, because the line of scrimmage was established at the snap and then reestablished by the guys wearing the black jerseys. They took it back another yard in the direction of Pittsburgh. Nothing doing. Mike Tomlin didn't like what he saw from his offensive line. Says let's kick the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down.
It's going to be a 40-yard attempt for Boswell. And he knocks it through to cut into the Baltimore lead. It's the domino effect also of losing Najee Harris and how that changes your entire approach. So much confidence in the rookie. On 4th down, they decide. Well, just when you thought football couldn't get any more fun, here comes Nickelodeon. NFL wildcard game you can't miss. You just can't experience football like this anywhere else. Check out the NFL wildcard game on Nickelodeon next Sunday, 4:30 Eastern. It's going to be wilder than ever.
Well, the game last year was such a great hit, and they did such a great job on it, everyone involved. And then to turn it into a weekly program, Slime Time, how great was that? All during the year and just bring in an entirely new audience for our football.
Return man is Duvernay for Baltimore. He's got a hole. And it closes up on him as he got swallowed up at the 34-yard line. Well, Charles, you want it? You got it. You wanted to be nickified.
Where's the slime?
No slime. You got to work your way. Oh, you just got slimed. I think you just got slimed right at the end.
Well, good, because, you know, my agent was on the other line. If I didn't get slimed, there was going to be, we were going to have some questions.
Yeah, you're taking the headset off. You're pulling Antonio Brown. You're leaving.
It was in my rider. Okay? It was in the rider.
Yep. And you get red M&Ms apparently before the game. But I never knew that to be true.
Only red.
First down and 10, running play. Murray had the touchdown run, and he gets trampled down after the gain of 1 to the 35-yard line. NFL Today update, back to New York. JB and the coach.
A gutted roster, and Houston's playing tough.
Yeah, it's going with a little free flicker here. Flip back to Davis Mills. He'll find Chris Moore from 28 yards out, and Houston cuts the lead to 21-7.
Boy, they have played hard. There's my little commentary, Ian.
Well, Tennessee trying to clinch that #1 seed. Meanwhile, Jacksonville continues to get it done against Indianapolis. Swing pass off by Oliver, spun down, sniffed out by Miles Killebrew. 1-yard pickup. Killebrew came over from Detroit.
Excellent play in the open field, and Miles Killebrew is supposed to be on the field for rundowns. A tremendous tackler. That's what he was known for coming out of Southern Utah. He tackled as well as any linebacker I saw that year on tape. And range wasn't supposed to be a big part of his game. He ranged quite well from inside out and made that play.
And it sets up 3rd and 8 for Tyler Huntley and the Ravens. We approach 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. They handle the rush. Huntley outside, catch. Marquise Brown short of the first down. Matched up with Cameron Sutton out on the perimeter.
Watch Sutton close on this play, understanding where the sticks are as well as the receiver to make sure he gets a hand on Brown and gets him out before he can get to the first down marker.
They needed 8 yards. They only got 6. So Sam Cook is on to kick it. Ray McLeod waits for it at the 15-yard line. Snapper is Nick Moore. No pressure, high kick, not very far. And it floats out of bounds. The official will walk down the sideline and mark him at the 35. It's a 23-yard kick. Steelers trailing 10-6. Back in Charm City, M&T Bank Stadium, where the Ravens lead the Steelers 10-6. Najee Harris has returned to action for Pittsburgh, and he's in the backfield on 1st and 10. They'll get it to him. On the cut by Harris. Big and physical, great balance. He brings size, he brings power. And we check in with Evan Washburn.
And guys, carrying that ball in his left hand because he suffered a right arm injury in the first series of the game. Had a brace on there with some plastic in the first half. Came out for the second half. Different brace, more of a tape job there to allow him to try and grip the ball better. Has been on the bike in between series. Again, this is his first series back in the game. Watch where and how he carries this ball.
I'm going to venture a guess we're not going to see stiff arms from Najee Harris today.
But maybe still hurdles.
Roethlisberger, incomplete. It bounces off of Ray McLeod. And it sets up 3rd and 7. Back to New York, JB, Coach Coward.
Jacksonville came to play.
Watch this interception here by Damian Wilson. Also has a forced fumble. Carson Wentz in the day, 5 of 12, 70 yards, 1 fumble, 1 interception. He's been all Jacksonville, up 16-3 and driving again.
Just like it's been all Ian Eagle with us going back to him today.
JB, amazing. A win for Pittsburgh, a loss from Indianapolis, and then anything other than a tie later tonight between the Raiders and Chargers, and the Steelers are in the playoffs. Roethlisberger takes the sack. Seymour there along with Chris Board, and it's 4th down for Pittsburgh.
Baltimore showing some different things. Look at the rotation back here into the middle of the field, change their coverage, plus the jam at the top against the receiver where Ben Roethlisberger wanted to throw the fade. The corner does a great job jamming the receiver, not letting him get into his route. And with the extra coverage looks Ben Roethlisberger saw, has to hold the football and take the sack.
The punt from Harvin. Duvernay moves forward. No fair catch. And he is dumped at the 25-yard line by Spillane. 46-yard kick, no return. NFL playoffs are here. It all kicks off. Super Wild Card Weekend action gets started with a Saturday doubleheader, followed by a Sunday tripleheader. And for the first time ever, A wild card Monday. 3 days, 6 games, 1 epic weekend. The road to Super Bowl 56 starts here. Ben Roethlisberger, 554 sacks in his career. First down for Baltimore at the 25-yard line. Murray gets the call. Latavius Murray, another strong run. Latavius Murray going right up the gut for 22.
Right side of the Ravens offensive line. Bozeman 77, Zeitler 70, Patrick McCarry 65, created a great space and a gap for Latavius Murray to run through. I know Mike Tomlin wanted his Steelers to continue to hammer away at the run game at halftime, but right now it's the Baltimore Ravens taking over the line of scrimmage with their running game.
And concern right now, Kello Witherspoon down for Pittsburgh. We'll step aside. Kello Witherspoon was on the bottom of what turned out to be a little bit of a pile-up. Got up on his own. He's now in the pop-up tent. First down, running play. They're gashing him. Latavius Murray. Another big run for the Ravens.
So if you're running the ball like this, all these guys here are controlling things at the line of scrimmage. Watch the offensive line. We get a double. Zeitler gets up there. Eric Tomlinson, number 85, gets into the hole, the tight end playing fullback. But Zeitler was able to get his block, number 70 at right guard, at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage, and then climb to the second level.
3-yard run there. They now have 184 rushing yards as a team. Murray's got 116 individually.
And this offensive line for the Ravens, as you see Ben Roethlisberger looking on, trying to see what's going to happen, how many points will I have to make up if I get the ball back. This line is really taking charge of the line of scrimmage. Number 65, Patrick McCarry, has played center, guard, tackle in his time here. Been playing hurt this entire game, giving yeoman's effort.
2nd and 7. Latavius Murray gets hit from behind. Nice move as he cut it upfield.
And everything is working for the Jags.
No doubt, and that means that everything could be working here for either the Steelers or the Ravens. Well, you've got both fan bases shouting Duval today. Mark Andrews. Short.
How about that? No Patrick Ricard, so they've been using the tight ends in the fullback spot, and in a short yardage situation where Mark Andrews running the football there. See, if I'm Baltimore, with the season being the way it's been, there's no way you don't go for it here. This is what they do. 4th down,
less than a yard.
A lot of times they go with quarterback power.
Tyler Huntley, second effort, and really close. Well, that spot from the near side looks to be enough.
First down.
And it is.
A lot of times in that situation, they like to go gun, quarterback power to their left with lead blockers. Instead, they put Huntley under center, got the sneak, and got just enough to pick up the first down.
New running back in the game. It's Tyson Williams, second year out of BYU. We are under 30 seconds to go in the third. Huntley on a give. Williams drags a defender with him and leans in for 3 yards. Alex Highsmith there defensively for Pittsburgh. It's going to be the final play of this third quarter. Playoff possibilities still out there for the Steelers and the Ravens. Baltimore leads it 10-6 as we go to the fourth. Playoff hopes still alive for these two teams, the Steelers and the Ravens. Baltimore in front 10-6 and looking for more. Start of the fourth quarter from the pistol. Hochuli to throw. Fires! Intercepted! Stepping in front, Cameron Sutton for the Steelers. A huge turnover to open up the fourth.
He wanted an out route to the top to the left of your screen, and he came back to Mark Andrews, and he came back late, and he came back soft with the throw. See him floating it in there? If he's going to get that in there to Mark Andrews, that's got to require some zip at that point because he was late coming back to him. And an excellent job by Cameron Sutton coming off of his initial coverage, reading the eyes of the quarterback and falling into a big-time interception. Yeah, see, he wanted Rashad Bateman first, didn't have him, comes back late to Andrews, Cameron Sutton all over that play. The Steelers back in business, only down 4.
Second interception of the season for Sutton, and a big one for Pittsburgh here in the fourth. They trail 10-6. They take over at the 20-yard line. Shotgun. Roethlisberger. Soft toss. Cut by Harris. Gang tackled. Jimmy Smith and Patrick Queen leading the charge. Forward progress will get the rookie 2 yards.
This stage of the game, the guys that are the playmakers for Pittsburgh, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool out wide, Najee Harris back in the game at running back. They can't just make whatever the play is. They've got to make that play and just a little bit more to advance this ball downfield. Boy, Baltimore's tightening down on defense with everything in front.
McLeod in motion. Harris single setback. Trickery. Claypool will run. Outside. Claypool's got a first down. Well, Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, dials it up, and it turns into a 17-yard gain for Claypool.
And watch coming back the opposite way. Look at Ben Roethlisberger like, hey, don't come through my direction. And look at Najee Harris, 22 blocking. Deontay Johnson, 18 downfield blocking. Second time they've given it to Claypool on end arounds. Second time for big yardage.
Jacksonville leads Indianapolis 23-3. That result will affect the playoff possibilities for these two teams, with Baltimore in front here 10-6. Running play. Harris trying to fend off. Cannot. 5 different Ravens get over there to make sure Harris couldn't turn the corner, and he got hemmed in by Jimmy Smith initially. Loss of 1.
And that made the play, didn't it? The first force, so Najee Harris couldn't turn upfield. Watch into the backfield here. Good job by Jalen Ferguson, 45, holding the point of attack. Jimmy Smith, as you noted, gets into the backfield. And then here comes the rest of the black jerseys to force him over the sideline.
Steelers face a 2nd and 11 from their own 38. Go! Roethlisberger on time. Claypool with the grab. 10 yards through the air, just short of a first down, working against Chris Westry.
This is the exact route they didn't connect on in the first half. But Ben had a few words, and hey, let's get it right down the stretch. Nails Claypool, ball's out of his hand on the break, on the body of the receiver at the perfect time.
3rd down and 1.
Tough sledding, running it inside against Baltimore in the second half.
Najee Harris, fake it to him. Roethlisberger, pitch and catch, first down and more. Into Baltimore territory. Najee Harris slipped around the defender, eventually hit by Josh Bonds.
And I think Matt Canada, the offense coordinator, felt the exact same way about how difficult it's been to run it inside. So he went for a play-action fake on 3rd and short, hoping to get something deep downfield with Deontay Johnson. That was taken away. So Ben Roethlisberger improvises with Najee Harris. A little short toss for a first down.
Bring it!
On the ground, Harris stood up. Now they're trying to take the ball away from him. Calais Campbell was joined by several teammates after no gain on the play for Harris.
Defensive front making it very difficult to run the ball inside. Calais Campbell, 93. Justin Matabike, number 92. Brandon Williams, 98. They make things very difficult when they're trying to run the ball.
2nd and 10. We approach 11 minutes to play in regulation. Benny Snell now in there to spell Harris. Roethlisberger looking, zips it to Snell. Snell trying a stiff arm of his own, carries a defender, 1st down. Benny Snell, he gave Seymour the stiff arm and a flag thrown. He's watched a lot of Najee Harris tape.
Foul. Face mask, offense number 71.
Whoa.
15-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
It's Joe Haig, and this is a crusher for the Steelers.
You saw it right there working on Justin Houston, number 50. Had the hand on the face mask underneath is where the officials detected it, back there with the referee and the umpire are positioned. Haig filling in at left tackle today for Dan Moore, the rookie out of Texas A&M.
So back it up all the way to the 43-yard line. That's a 39-yard difference from where Snell was eventually brought down. 2nd and 25 for Pittsburgh. From the gun. Roethlisberger hooks a pass. Almost picked. Jumping in front, Brandon Stevens bounces off of the rookie, and it's 3rd and 25 for the Steelers.
Zone coverage, Brandon Stevens back deep. The rookie out of SMU sees the play the entire way and makes an excellent break on the football, but doesn't come down with it. 2 years at UCLA as a running back before his transfer to SMU, where he told SMU, I want to come and be a defensive back. And now as a rookie having a nice season.
There was an issue with the play clock. It's down to 4. And Shawn Hochuli is pointing towards him. Now they're looking to reset it. 10:34 mark. And they do. 25 seconds on it. Now they roll it. 3rd and 25.
Look how deep Baltimore is playing. All eyes towards the line of scrimmage. You can have anything in front, nothing behind.
Roethlisberger trying to set up a convoy in front of Claypool. And not much there. He's dropped at midfield by Chris Board. 7-yard pickup through the air. We sent it to JB and Coach Killens.
Bill, early in the 4th quarter. Back to Iron Eagle.
Now that spoiler roll, when you know that's what's at stake, you've got maybe the fate of your opponent's playoff lives on the line, and Jacksonville has come through. The punt to Duvernay, fair catch called for, 36-yard kick. Ravens holding on to a 10-6 lead in the 4th. Path to the postseason for each team. Pittsburgh a win, an Indy loss at Jacksonville. Chargers and Las Vegas no tie. Baltimore win, Indy loss, Miami loss or tie against New England, and a Charger loss to the Raiders, and the Ravens would be in the playoffs. 3 tight ends in this formation. 1st down, run to Latavius Murray. And he'll pick up a yard and a half with forward progress. Clock is rolling, got a 9:42 to go in the 4th.
In the 2nd half, Baltimore's really gashed Pittsburgh's run defense, 129 yards on the ground in this half. But in this series, on this possession, the Steelers have to effect a stop here. They've got to hold Baltimore down and help their own offense out with better field position to start their next drive.
Jacksonville continues to lead Indianapolis 23-3. It's a give to Murray. Loops to the outside. Murray's been outstanding for the Ravens. Leaning in on Mollett as he turns the corner for extra yards. NFL Today update. JB, Coach Killens.
An indefatigable Houston squad. My goodness, Ian.
How about 18 straight points right here? Davis Mills going to find Danny Amendola in the back of the end zone from 7 yards. They go for 2, convert also to Danny Amendola. And right now, Houston only trailing Tennessee 21-18.
Ian, Charles, and Evan.
It just is so fitting that in week 18 of this crazy season that we would have all of these moving parts right now in the early portion of the window.
And to see how Houston has played down the stretch under David Culley with a roster that charitably is not very good, pretty impressive.
Baltimore got a bad spot on the previous play, and Latavius Murray is snuffed out going up the middle. The Steelers defense holds strong with Hayward and Spillane.
And it's something that they sorely needed as we started this possession. We talked about what the Steelers had to do because they've got to help their offense out, which is struggling. So how do you help your offense? Give them better field position to work under. Able to hold Baltimore down, who had been running the ball so effectively in the second half and forcing a punt. Steelers should start out there somewhere closer to midfield.
Ray McLeod waiting for the kick from Sam Cook. He's standing at his own 33-yard line. Mild rush. End over end. McLeod makes his move upfield. McLeod takes it right to the 50. Westry makes the stop on special teams. A 23-yard return. The Steelers with possession when we come back. Just want to take you back to the previous series. The second down run from Latavius Murray. Right there, right knee was down, and then after contact, he kept moving. The officials were all over it, and it was the correct spot to set up a 3rd and 2, and they didn't get it. So Pittsburgh now takes over at midfield with 8:07 to go in regulation, trailing 10-6. High snap. Roethlisberger rifles to a spot, and Claypool with the catch for 8 yards.
The timing's good on this play. Claypool secures the catch, makes sure he has it before he rolls towards the sideline.
Timeout called for an injury, so we have some time to send it to the Big Apple. JB and Coach.
And to Coach, a tip of the hat to Cleveland.
Yeah, Case Keenum's second touchdown pass of the day. A quick screen out there to Dimitri Felton. He goes 10 yards, and Cleveland leads Cincinnati 21-10.
Back to Ian Eagle.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We've had a number of injuries over the course of this game. Rainy conditions throughout the day. Chilly, not frigid, but chilly on a January Sunday. It just feels like old AFC North action.
No doubt.
Steelers and Ravens doing this for the 56th time. Steelers lead the all-time series with a mark of 31-24. Mike Tomlin, when we asked him about this week, did he talk to his team about what's on the line and what has to happen? He said, look, who we're playing makes it easier to stay focused. When it's a divisional matchup in the final week of the season, it doesn't require a whole lot of long speeches. Everybody knows what this means.
Yeah, he did say, I think he followed it up with, those in the locker room who already know, they just tell the others. He didn't have to go and do all that. They've got it pretty well covered for us.
Well, the injured Raven, Tyus Bowser, has had a good season for Baltimore with 7 sacks entering action here today in week 18. We sent it downstairs to Evan.
Yeah, we'll get an update on Bowser, guys, but just to finish up on what you're talking about, I thought it was interesting. Guys telling us Tomlin was actually showing old clips in the meetings this week of Ray Lewis, Suggs, and Ryan Clark, and some of the physical hits, trying to make sure that the message was sent that this game is about the physicality happening in between the lines.
Yeah, that's a great point, Evan, and we've seen that on display here today. It's been a line of scrimmage type of a game. And Baltimore taking charge of it for much of this half. But here's Pittsburgh with a golden opportunity starting their drive.
Second down and 2. Claypool motion man, give it to him. Claypool turns it upfield, dives, and he has got enough for the first down. Needed 2 yards, takes it to the 40, hit by Josh Bynes on the play.
We've seen him on end rounds twice before, 14 yards, 17 yards. That was the most intelligent run he's had in this game because he understood he couldn't get to the corner.
Yeah.
So he just turned it upfield and used that 6'4", 238 that's listed to be a pullback and gain the first down.
And he's actually the leading rusher for Pittsburgh here this afternoon. 3 carries, 33 yards, and a new set of downs to work with here for Pittsburgh. Fake it to Harris. Underneath. Deontay Johnson just does not have the room to work with. It's a loss of 1 on the play as Kevon Seymour came over to make sure he couldn't turn it upfield.
Yeah, they wanted a tunnel screen on that play. They wanted to bring Deontay Johnson back inside so he catches the ball and vertically gets upfield. But as you described, Seymour on the spot blows up those prospects, and Josh Bynes, the middle linebacker, was on his way as well.
Going against this Wink Martindale defense, we asked Mike Tomlin about Ben Roethlisberger. What stands out most? He said his competitive spirit. He never blinks. He's most normal when the situation is most dire.
And we're approaching that here in this game, aren't we?
Play clock was down to 0.
You got it.
They got the timeout.
Timeout. Pittsburgh. Their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
Stay tuned. NFL Today update, time permitting. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the latest NFL scores and highlights, and a look at the playoff picture. NFL Today update.
That is Pittsburgh's first timeout of the half.
So Shawn Hochuli updates the crowd here. Obviously, timeouts could play a big role later on in this game. Back to New York.
28-18.
Back to Iron Eagle.
2nd down and 12 for Pittsburgh. 6:25 to go. Roethlisberger slings it. Catch made. Freiermuth. Extra yards after the grab. 8 yards, catch and run. 3rd down and manageable now for Pittsburgh.
Remember, we talked about any play that you make as a Steeler, you can't just get what's there. You have to get more. Freiermuth did that on that play.
3rd down and 4. They go right to the line of scrimmage. Roethlisberger gets everybody on the same page. And flags fly as Roethlisberger was looking to toss it.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
And it's the young guard, John Leglu.
The 4th left guard to play this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's supposed to be Kevin Dotson's spot. Young man with a lot of promise out of Louisiana, hurt early. B.J. Finney's been there. Hassenauer's played guard. And now, Leglu, excuse me.
They turned a 3rd and 4 into a 3rd and 9.
Look at the coverage back deep again.
Roethlisberger steps, lets it fly. Caught at the 20-yard line. McLeod with the grab. And a 1st down for Pittsburgh. 20 yards on a rope from Big Ben.
They gave him the room downfield, but the defensive backs didn't close any gaps when the ball went in the air. And McLeod goes up and gets it. Looked like Deontay Johnson also in the areas. They ran a little bit of a crossing route downfield. Look at McLeod elevate, levitate, and haul it down.
The vertical on display for Ray McLeod. First down at the 19. Roethlisberger looks one way, throws, popped up in the air, and incomplete. Pat Freiermuth in a matchup with Bynes.
Just wonder right now, Ian, I know that John Harbaugh's totally into this game, but I wonder if there's that little nanosecond of, I've seen this before with this guy. Remember when you talked about earlier how Manning and Brady, they've gone against them? He also mentioned they blocked us for more Super Bowl appearances. Ben was the same type of a player. Matching wits here down the stretch with the Hall of Famer.
39 years old. Ben Roethlisberger trying to lead the Steelers down the field for a touchdown. Najee Harris picks his way just short of the 15-yard line. That's a 4-yard gain hit by Chuck Clark, who has been such a stabilizing force for this Baltimore secondary. We are under 5 minutes to go. 10-6 Ravens.
And you know Pittsburgh's not turning down any opportunity to get to the end zone. They're not playing cat and mouse that way. But watch how much clock gets eaten up between plays here. They want to score and leave as little time as possible for Baltimore to come downfield under their young quarterback.
3rd down and 6 for the Steelers. They go empty. Roethlisberger looks, makes the connection. Freiermuth inside the 5. And the Steelers are knocking on the door.
Another example of not just getting what's there. Right there, that's what's there. Now he gets more. An additional 5, 6, 7 yards more after the catch. 2nd time in a row, Freiermuth makes that type of a play for Pittsburgh.
1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. They spot it at the 4. They are under 4 minutes to play.
Claypool on the end on the wing right here. Been a runner today too.
Now the play is whistled dead. And a handoff to Harris. It never happens.
Before the snap, full start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
It's Okorafor.
Game clock to 3:44. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll add 2 seconds.
I continue to remain impressed. Your rapport with every official in the league. I want to meet these guys.
It's important to be polite in life, Charles.
Important to have a connection.
1st and goal at the 9. Harris in the backfield. Motion man Deontay Johnson. Steelers looking to go in front. Roethlisberger underneath. Catch made. Johnson looking for blockers and goes down. 3-yard gain as he's spun around like a top at the 6.
And what a catch by Deontay Johnson on this pass. Watch him go down and get it. Trying to put the move on, wants to find some space to get vertical and get towards the end zone. But they did a nice job of closing him out after making the catch.
Jacksonville now up 26-3 on Indianapolis. Incredible. 10th play of the drive. Roethlisberger on 2nd and goal. Comes it. Touchdown! Claypool! The Steelers take the lead. Ben Roethlisberger with a strike.
First option was Freiermuth inside. Ben Roethlisberger pulls that one back, reloads, and finds Claypool on the 2nd one. He wanted the tight end 88 first. Didn't have him. Able to show his arm strength, body control, brings the ball back, and then flicks it a 2nd time with power to Claypool for the touchdown.
And the extra point from Boswell. He curves it through. 10 plays, 50 yards, and a 13-10 lead for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It all started with their defense on the last series, holding them, and then an excellent return by Ray McLeod, and Ben Roethlisberger pays it off with the drive, leading the drive for his offense for one of the biggest touchdowns of this season, and one that possibly he'll remember forever.
That whole sequence could go down in Pittsburgh lore. The extraordinary circumstances surrounding this game, what has to happen. Ben Roethlisberger, everybody came into the day presuming, oh, this is it. This is the end of an era. Not yet, my friend.
Possibly not, but 2:54 to go for Baltimore. Tyler Huntley's been composed and poised all game long. He'll have to be at his top now as the quarterback of the Ravens to bring his team downfield here.
Chris Boswell will kick it off for the Steelers, now in front 13-10, 2:54 on the clock. Duvernay Return man for the Ravens. Gets hit along the sideline as he crossed the 30-yard line by Marcus Allen. Coming up next, Game 2 of our NFL on CBS season finale doubleheader. Playoff puzzle adds another piece. Buccaneers and Panthers matchups in Miami, Buffalo, the Patriots and the Bills both still fighting for playoff positioning. That's coming up here on CBS. Steelers 8-7-1, Ravens 8-8. The only way to stay alive is to win. Then you give yourself a chance. Hochuli knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And remember who Baltimore has in their arsenal. The best kicker in the NFL, Justin Tucker. Cameron Hayward got a piece of that.
66-yarder this year at Detroit. In optimum conditions in the dome, understand. But Justin Tucker's leg, so capable.
Clock stops, 2:46 remaining. Dime package here for the Steelers. A 2nd and 10. Huntley in the pocket, throws over the middle, catch is made. Mark Andrews, first down, Ravens. That covers 11. Hit by Bush to New York. JB and coach.
Hughes 6 yards out. Tennessee leads 28-25. 4 minutes to go in the fourth. Iron.
Huntley with the run into Pittsburgh territory. Fantastic play from Tyler Huntley.
This run is so good, you wonder if maybe he's wearing an 8 jersey underneath the number 2 jersey. What a play by Tyler Huntley.
Superb run for Huntley. The Ravens trying to come back against the Steelers as we come down to the wire in Baltimore. 2 minutes to play. 4th quarter in Baltimore. 3-point lead for the Steelers. Huntley throws it. Incomplete. Edmonds got in between the ball and the intended target, Mark Andrews.
Talking in the break, our colleague Evan Washburn down there in the field, Mike Tomlin imploring his defensive backs, whatever it takes, Mark Andrews is not going to be the guy to beat us right now. Make sure you're in the area. Terrell Edmonds takes his words to heart.
2nd and 10. Huntley gets rid of it quickly. It's Andrews. And hit as he crossed the 20-yard line by a combination. Joe Hayden ranging over 8-yard gain. Path to the postseason. Well, we know what Jacksonville is doing right now against Indianapolis. That is a big piece in the puzzle, and then it triggers so many other things on the Baltimore side. Huntley short on a 3rd and 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers there to greet Tyler Huntley. And the clock is rolling. Finally stops with 1:13 and a timeout called.
Pittsburgh, their 2nd of the half, 30-second timeout.
It's a 5-game losing streak for the Baltimore Ravens, and they have had some very tough losses. Week 13 against Pittsburgh, they go for 2 in the win, they can't convert. Week 14 against Cleveland, they trailed by 3 touchdowns, they lost by 2. Week 15 against Green Bay, they go for 2 in the win. Huntley's pass incomplete. Last week against the Rams, Odell Beckham Jr., the game winner, with under a minute left, and a 1-point victory for the Rams. It's a 46-yard attempt here for Justin Tucker on 4th and 2. Looking to tie the game. Moore to snap it. Cook the holder from 46 yards away. Tucker looking for the equalizer. He's got it. 13 apiece with a minute 13 on the clock.
The idea that you're going to ruffle or rattle Justin Tucker is almost folly, isn't it? I believe that's 58 straight fourth quarter overtime field goals for Justin Tucker. You're not going to get him out of his zone. Impressive.
Let's check in to New York. JB, Coach Cowher.
Bill, finally.
Yeah, Carson Wentz will find Michael Pittman from 12 yards out. The two-point conversion was good. Might be too little, too late. They trailed Jacksonville 26-11.
Back to Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn.
And here is your script right now. Ben Roethlisberger in Week 18, season number 18, in what everybody presumed would be the swan song, has a chance to lead his team to a victory in Baltimore against the Steelers' heated rivals and maybe propel this team into the playoffs.
And he had hoped that at 2:54, that last touchdown they scored, he had hoped that was the one. Now another opportunity after that Justin Tucker tying field goal.
Tucker kicks it off. Ray McLeod, deep man. He skies it over his head and out to the 25-yard line for Pittsburgh. 1:13 on the clock. Steelers have one timeout remaining. 52 career game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime. Roethlisberger, 6 of them this season, the most in the NFL.
This type of a game as a secondary, your concern is letting people behind you, but they have not shown that ability to throw the ball over their heads, so I wouldn't be too loose in my coverage if I were Baltimore.
First down.
Go, go, go!
Roethlisberger out of the pocket, lets it fly. He's got Freiermuth. First down grab across the 35. Clock is moving. We hit 1 minute to go. Roethlisberger trying to get everybody organized.
Timeout for injury.
A Baltimore Raven was slow to get up. Chris Westry.
Baltimore is charged their second timeout of the half.
So the Ravens have a timeout taken away.
Correction, Baltimore's first timeout of the half. Please reset the game clock to 57 seconds.
So they will add 4 seconds to the game clock, with the Steelers and Ravens tied at 13. 57 seconds to play. First and 10 at the 35 for Pittsburgh.
So Brandon Stevens normally has been playing safety, bounces out to corner now, his college position, to replace Westry. Stevens wearing number 21.
Harris in the backfield. First down for the Steelers. Roethlisberger, pump, offline. He was looking for McLeod, incomplete. 52 seconds left, second and 10.
See what kind of cushion Baltimore gives them. But again, I say don't give them too much cushion. Most of their plays come underneath, and you need to be on the spot to make the tackle and prevent yards after the catch. A lot of space in the middle of the field.
Roethlisberger dials it up to the sideline. Claypool. 6 yards, and that stops the clock. It got out of bounds. 48 seconds left. Coverage from Brandon Stevens.
At some point, don't be surprised if Ben Roethlisberger takes that shot across the middle, as he did earlier in the half with Ray McLeod. Again, look at the space and the gap here. That type of space and them retreating, you may want to take one of those.
Third down and 4. Tie game. Roethlisberger, short pass. Freiermuth Did he get the angle? He did not.
Looks short here.
It is short.
Short of the line today. It's 4th down.
And the Ravens changed coverage on them as well, and moved a guy into the middle of the field to rob the middle portion. So Roethlisberger goes outside, and Fryer moved just short as he tries to get the 1st down.
It is 4th down and a little less than a yard.
And Mike Tomlin will punt the ball away because he doesn't want to turn it over here with Justin Tucker's field goal ability. His range as a kicker, he doesn't want to miss it here and lose the game with Tucker kicking one through the post.
So the Steelers will play the percentages and kick it with Harvin. Duvernay, fair catch. Baltimore has 38 seconds to work with, 2 timeouts, and a chance to end this game in regulation.
There's a 66-yarder in Detroit, but remember, that's in a dome. I think on a day like this, 65 for him. Just kidding a little bit, but with his leg, who knows? But I'd say get into a range for 60 for him gives you a chance of winning this game.
Freiermuth tried to extend, but his momentum carried him to the sideline. He was cradling the ball with his right arm and could not get the necessary yardage. So Baltimore gets an opportunity here from the 18. Hochuli, catch made. Andrews, a dash to the sideline and a good chunk on 1st down. Gets out of bounds, 12 yards, catch and run.
How about that burst from Andrews after the catch to get to the sideline? Andrews coming from your left to the right, chips away on T.J. Watt, gets into his route, gets a nice straight arm in on Terrell Edmonds, and accelerates to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
They need 30 more yards for a legitimate chance. Hochuli tosses. Marquise Brown walking the tightrope. The juggle incomplete. Minkah Fitzpatrick drills him and knocks the ball away.
What a play by Fitzpatrick at the end, because Marquise Brown, great field awareness, understood where he was, sets up, has both feet down, and Fitzpatrick punches it out of his arms before he can complete the process, going out of bounds.
25 seconds left. Hochuli gets rid of it. Incomplete. He skied it in the direction of Marquise Brown. And now it's 3rd and 10. .20 seconds on the clock. Trying to get into Tucker range. Right now, they're not close.
And every snap, it's at least 2 people that T.J. Watt's trying to navigate, trying to get to the quarterback. On the first snap, Mark Andrews, the tight end, chipped on him before he even got into his route.
3rd down and 10. Huntley, step, rainbow, incomplete. Andrews, the intended receiver. 4th down, Baltimore, 16 seconds left.
Similar route to the interception he threw in the first half, trying to find Andrews down the middle that Terrell Edmonds picked off. That one falls to the turf harmlessly.
So Sam Cook out to punt it. It is Ray McLeod waiting for it at the 26-yard line. 16 seconds remain on the clock. They handle the rush. Wobbler bounces up in the air and settles in at the 31 with 7 seconds left. Ben Roethlisberger puts on the helmet. Tied at 13. Ball at the 31-yard line. It is over in Jacksonville. The Jaguars have defeated the Indianapolis Colts. So the door is open for one of these two teams. Big Ben takes a knee. And we are going to overtime in Baltimore.
This is the end of the game. We go to overtime.
And uniquely fitting that the Steelers and Ravens will play an extra period to determine who stays alive in the playoff chase.
A low-scoring game on a rainy, cold day. Opportunity to go to the playoffs, needed help, got the first help that they needed for both of these teams. And now we take it to an extra period, extra 10 minutes to see who advances. Or potentially advances for Baltimore.
Gentlemen, welcome to overtime. The rules of overtime in the regular season are as follows. There'll be 10 minutes on the clock. Fourth quarter timing rules will be in effect. Each team will have one possession unless the first team scores a touchdown or there's a defensive score. All reviews are initiated by the booth. Each team will have 2 timeouts, and if we end in a tie, the game ends in a tie. Pittsburgh, you're still the visitor. You'll call the toss. This is still a heads. That's still a tails. That's still heads. That's still tails. What's your call, Ben?
Heads.
He's called heads. Heads is the call. It is a tails. You would like the ball. Which way would you like to kick? You're good where you are, man. Baltimore will receive on this end. Good luck, gentlemen.
The Ravens win the toss. They'll get the football when we come back for overtime. The updated playoff picture, Tennessee has clinched the #1 seed. A damaging loss for the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars now puts them in the hunt, and the Chargers and Las Vegas are in the wild card positions, but still a lot can happen here, including the result of this one. Boswell kicks off. Duvernay from the 6-yard line. Sheds one tackler and gets hit at the 24 by Ulysses Gilbert III. So we just heard from Shawn Hochuli. Regulation is over. Regular season rules for overtime, 1 10-minute period. Touchdown or safety on the first possession wins the game. If score is tied after each team's first possession, then the next score will win it. And by the way, Charles, a tie does neither of these teams any good.
That's why Indianapolis is still in the hunt, because they have 9 wins. 9 wins is going to trump a tie for either one of these teams.
First down. Handoff. Latavius Murray slicing for a first down run across the 35. That's a gain of 11. Murray has 142 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Look at him getting left, and look coming around Kevin Zeitler, number 70. The offensive guard helping clear the way. And Latavius Murray doing a lot of his own heavy lifting, taking 3 Pittsburgh Steelers with him for a first down.
He's a big back, power and strength at 6'3", 230 pounds. Now in his 9th year in the league. 4th overtime game of the season for Baltimore. And Murray gets spun down. Well handled there by the Steelers front, as Murray was trying to get some extra yards after contact. Joe Schobert with a tackle. Second down and 6. Ben Roethlisberger waits for his chance. The Ravens can end it here with a touchdown. Huntley to throw it. Steps up. Huntley down as he crosses the 40. And tackled at the 42 by Schobert. It'll set up 3rd down for the Ravens, 3rd and 2.
And Andrews trots back on the field. Mark Andrews out on that last play. How does Pittsburgh defend him here? I'd have to have someone over him. I'm not going to give him a free release. I don't want to make it easy for Mark Andrews to get into his route. There's Andrews, 89. to the right side of the tight end position.
Shotgun. Huntley is a threat to run. They're going to give it to Murray. And he's got enough. First down across the 45. Clock continues to roll. 3-yard gain. Down to 7:40 remaining in OT.
That was not a very difficult pickup on a 3rd and 2 there. Almost if Pittsburgh was expecting them to throw the ball and clear it up that way, take care of it that way. They sliced right through to get the necessary yardage. And McCary goes off the field. He's been playing dinged all game long. We've seen this throughout, Ian, after plays, picking himself up, getting back to the huddle.
So McCary now on the sideline for Baltimore. And a first down at the 46 for the Ravens. Murray again. One cut, and he's met by the Pro Bowler Hayward. Forward progress will get him a yard.
If there's going to be one person to make a big-time play on that defensive front, you should always think 97 first for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 4 straight Pro Bowls, and I would dare say in a lot of ways he's still underrated as one of the top defenders in the league.
David Sharp has stepped in for McCary at that right tackle position. This is a 2nd and 9 for the Ravens. Here comes the rush. Knocked away! Huntley tried to squeeze it in there, and it's Witherspoon who makes the play for Pittsburgh.
Mike Tomlin taking over as defensive coordinator today, dials up pressure and a rush at the quarterback, and Huntley responds with an inaccurate throw that Witherspoon's unable to come down with. That ball's got to be to the inside where Watkins is breaking. It was to the outside. Witherspoon had a chance if he keeps his feet to make the biggest play of the game.
And the rain has picked up here in OT. 3rd and 9. Huntley, step, throw, incomplete, offline. Mark Andrews, the intended receiver, and it's 4th down for Baltimore.
I think he felt some heat from T.J. Watt, but watch as he throws it down the middle. Does Mark Andrews get bumped off? Yes, by Devin Bush on the route, and throws off the timing, and Ben Roethlisberger says, woo, looks like I'm going to get a chance to get on the field here in overtime.
Sam Cook will punt it. Ray McLeod waits for it at the 13. No rush. High kick. McLeod settles under it. Fair catch. Sure-handed. And the Steelers will have the football after the 36-yard kick at the 17-yard line. Next score wins the game. 6:24 left at OT.
Pittsburgh's inability to be consistent running the ball takes us right back to where we've seen it so many times, Ian. This game totally runs through number 7 right now, and his ability to deliver the ball to open targets and see what they can do with it downfield.
He has had command for 18 years playing this position in the NFL. He's trying to do it one last time. Snared by Harris. Najee Harris works his way upfield for a first down. He faked out Queen and got extra yards, 11 yards on the catch and run.
He might have faked out everyone just by the catch. I'm not sure everyone could look at him. Would you say again, snared it? What a perfect word. Hauled that in and then put a move on Patrick Queen to pick up the first down.
Harris in the backfield, under 6 minutes to go in OT, tied at 13. Running play. Harris gets driven down to the turf after gaining 3 by Calais Campbell. Clock continues to roll. We're down to 5:40 and counting left in overtime. Got another injury, and a timeout has been called by the officials, and it's the veteran Justin Houston. Remember, he had himself quite a year in 2014 when he had 22 sacks coming up short of the record. T.J. Watt earlier today matching Michael Strahan's all-time record with 22.5 sacks in a single season. Roethlisberger trying to direct this Steeler team into field goal territory for a possible win. Out of the gun. Roethlisberger. Low throw. It's incomplete. Claypool, the receiver in the area for Pittsburgh. Now it's 3rd and 7.
They had him there. That one just wasn't able to get there. And one other thing to keep in mind, not a lot of receivers have played in this ball game for Pittsburgh. They've had to go the whole way essentially with Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Ray McLeod, with a little bit of extra help from Cody White, number 15. So they've run a lot of routes in this game.
They still need 35 yards to get into Boswell range. This is a 3rd and 7 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger, rush coming, uncorks. It's caught. Fryer move. What a grab! First down for 14 yards.
Ben let that one go, didn't he? He's not leaving anything out here. What a beautifully thrown football with dispatch. And look at Freiermuth haul it in. So let's see where he catches it. How much additional does he get afterwards? That's what Freiermuth has provided throughout the second half. Not just the catch, but the yards after the catch that are so crucial.
Jalen Ferguson was shaken up on the play. He is now on the Baltimore sideline. The Steelers are in business at the 45-yard line. Harris in the backfield.
Duke.
4:48 and counting left in overtime. Roethlisberger tosses, catch, Gentry. And he falls forward for a gain of a couple. Jimmy Smith, Patrick Queen trying to knock the ball out. 2nd down and 8 for the Steelers. A tie ends the season for both teams.
He's not gotten it to Deontay Johnson in a while now.
Back to the ground. Najee Harris is bottled up. Justin Houston read it well. And it's 3rd and long for the Steelers. Under 4 minutes to go in OT. They converted on the previous 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 9. Shotgun. Roethlisberger rifles to the outside. He's got room after the catch. Deontay Johnson, first down, Steelers. And the drive remains alive. Johnson and Geno Stone jawing at one another. That one covers 11 yards. What a move by Johnson.
Does that route look familiar? Remember in the first half, he laid that route, the same route down. And this time when they flat out needed it, he does it again. Little whip route. Come inside, break out hard to the outside. And Ben Roethlisberger greeted him with the football.
Boswell getting ready for a chance, almost in field goal range. Right now you're looking at a 61-yard attempt. Boswell's career long is 59. Running play. It's Harris. Stood up and whistled down at the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 2. 3:10 left in overtime. The clock is rolling.
A lot of teams would be in a position now where it's just run, try and set it up for your field goal kicker. But you have an 18-year veteran that you have the ultimate trust in. I expect Pittsburgh to throw the ball on this down.
2nd and 8. Roethlisberger steps up. Roethlisberger pump and throw. Sliding grab. Ray McCloud, it's ruled incomplete.
It's third down.
It is incomplete, the right call. In a few moments, we will be taking some of you to the start of your local game. We will keep you updated on this one with 2:32 on the clock in overtime. Third down and 8 and a timeout.
Their first 30-second timeout.
Had to take that timeout. Play clock was really winding down because it appeared to me in the huddle, Ben Roethlisberger wasn't just calling the play. It's a little extra tags on each thing, what he wanted from his guys, maybe an adjustment against certain things. Now they get a chance to talk it through.
It'll be a 3rd and 8 for the Steelers, all tied up here in OT. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, and you mentioned the rain. It's picked up here in the last 5 minutes, but so has the wind, and I would say it's a crosswind going from the Steelers sideline towards the Ravens sideline. Obviously, would be an impact on the kicking game.
And as mentioned, a tie does you no good. There's only one option for the Steelers at this stage. They have to get points and get a win to stay alive for the playoffs. Same holds true for Baltimore. 3rd down and 8. Roethlisberger. Johnson can't catch it. And it's 4th down.
And last year he led the league in drops. 14 is the number most often cited. This year he went along for it quite well. Only had 2, but 5 in his last 5 games. None until that point today. That was a crucial one for him there.
And Pittsburgh is not going to try a 60-yard field goal. They're going to leave the offense on the field.
Their final timeout of the half, 30 seconds in length.
And now they'll have a deeper discussion. A punt here does nothing for you. If Baltimore gets the ball back, they can either try to drive down the field, get Tucker into field goal range, or bleed the clock and the game is over, and neither team has anything to show for this Week 18 game.
If you're going to go for it, it's because a lot of it is because of what Evan has reported to us about the swirling wind, how difficult the conditions they are. So you have to go for it to try and pick up a 1st down and increase your opportunity for your field goal kicker. Or you just have to trust that maybe he can power through it, but you're not punting it away.
No timeouts left. Steelers had a choice of a 60-yard field goal attempt or to go for it here on 4th and 8. They have chosen the latter. Tied at 13, 2:28 to go in OT. 4th and 8 for what could be the final chapter for Ben Roethlisberger. Shotgun. Roethlisberger throws, catch, 1st down. Ray McCloud, Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger Sr. gets the 1st down for Pittsburgh.
Their first of the half, 30 seconds in length. Please reset the game clock to 2:18. Thank you.
And he got that past Calais Campbell, the tower and mountain of a man. The ball goes past, and McCloud, the biggest catch of his career. He talked last week about what it was like growing up, watching Roethlisberger play, and now playing with him. And he comes up with that type of a catch to keep Ben Roethlisberger's time on the field extended.
And maybe literally extended into next week. Baltimore has used a timeout. Now the Steelers are looking at a 49-yard field goal attempt if they gain no more yards. But there's still plenty of time. 2:18 left in OT.
And you like the cool of Boswell. Tucker with the big leg. We talked about him not being shaken. Boswell's become quite well himself from 50-plus yards. 17 of 21 in his career.
Najee Harris in the backfield, 3 tight ends in this formation. Handed off, Harris falls forward. No gain on the play. Hit by Campbell for Baltimore.
Their final time of the overtime, 30 seconds in length.
So Baltimore has used its final timeout. There is a 2-minute warning in overtime as well, so that will stop the clock. It is 2nd down and 10 for Pittsburgh. Just moments ago, Jacksonville wrapped up a victory over Indianapolis, which has uncorked a number of possibilities in the AFC playoff race.
If they hand the ball inside, ball security paramount. 2 hands on it.
Claypool in motion. Handoff. Harris trying to get to the outside. He does! The rookie turns the corner! First down, Steelers. $14 yards as he cut to the perimeter.
They stack it up inside. Now on the bounce, Jimmy Smith comes in just a bit too far. Number 22 for Baltimore, the corner. His angle too steep inside. Now he can't bounce outside and dance with Najee Harris, who gets out in front and uses Claypool as a shield to gain additional yardage downfield. Claypool wanted to turn around and block, kind of got his back to him, and now he's going to come up and get themselves in position for the field goal.
Roethlisberger takes a knee. Baltimore is out of timeouts. We have hit the 2-minute warning in overtime. Next score wins. Coming up next, second half of our doubleheader, Carolina at Tampa Bay, New England at Miami, and Buffalo hosting the Jets. So here we go. They put their trust in Chris Boswell. 36-yard attempt. Kuntz will snap it. Harvin will hold it, sweeps the leg, and that is a winner for Pittsburgh. On the brink of an unlikely playoff spot. And maybe this isn't the last dance for Big Ben. 16-13. The Steelers get it done in overtime in Baltimore. Pittsburgh improves to 9-7-1. Chris Boswell knocks through the game winner. Remember all those retirement plans? Put them on hold. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers have put themselves very much in the hunt. The Steelers will get in unless the Raiders and Chargers finish in a tie. Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up. For Charles Davis, Evan Washburn, Gene Steratore, Ian Eagle saying so long from Baltimore. The NFL on CBS continues right after this.